Hello, it's me, Tom, your friendly neighborhood atheist. And I have been trying not to be an atheist. I've been trying not to care. I've been trying to let it go. But I can't because religion is still out there doing things that religion does, which is basically poisoning the mind of people. I've been having a conversation with some kid who's totally religious. I don't even know what he believes because it's all just crazy nonsense to me. But he made the comment, I would rather die than to change my mind. And that is exactly the kind of thing that I've been struggling to fight against. Because there are literally thousands, if not millions of people who would literally rather die than to change their mind because they are terrified of changing their mind. They're terrified that what they believe might not be true. I've had another conversation on Twitter with some other guy who's convinced that Jesus is real, and he points out, all these scholars, they all say Jesus is real. I'm like, have you considered that most of these scholars work for universities that are religious-based, and their very livelihoods require them to believe Jesus was real? If they even entertained the idea that Jesus might not have existed, they'd be fired instantly. And that's true with most preachers. Most preachers, their job requires them to believe the stuff that they're saying. That's a job requirement. Of course, they're going to make every argument for it because that's their job. They're being paid to make those claims. And suckers just believe it. And they'd rather die than to change their mind. Now, Thomas Westbrook of Holy Kool-Aid fame, hopefully you know him, and I'm going to put a link in case any of you don't know his channel, but he does great stuff. Makes my stuff look like crap, but my stuff is crap. I don't care. I'm just venting because religion makes me nuts because I see it everywhere. There's a goddamn billboard on the highway with a picture of a fetus saying, proof that God is real. It's like, oh really? Is that really proof that God is real? How about, I don't know, Hitler? How about the Holocaust? How about cancer? How about parasitic wasps that lay their eggs in other animals that eat the animal alive while if everything is proof that God exists, then nothing is proof that God exists. Unless you can point to something specific and explain how and why it is proof that God exists, then it is not proof. Just saying things are proof that God exists. The fact that we're here is proof that God exists is not proof. It means you don't understand what proof is. It means that you do not understand what evidence is. And it makes me crazy, these empty claims that religious people, and I don't want to say religiotards, but it's like a mental disease. And it is. It is exactly a mental disease. And it is a disease that needs to stop being spread. And that's what this is the only thing I ask of people. Sure, you can believe whatever you want. You can believe Jesus was real. You can believe that Jesus was blonde hair and blue eyes for all I care. I don't give a damn what you believe. All I ask is that you stop spreading the disease of religion. You believe whatever you want to believe. Stop trying to convince other people to believe the same bullshit just because it makes you feel more secure in your belief. And that's what religion is. People spreading it to make themselves feel better for believing the utter nonsense that religion is. Most atheists used to be religious, and they realized one day, like, this stuff's crazy. How could I believe these crazy things? And they stopped believing. And it's difficult for them. They give up friends. They give up family. Some of them have given up their lives. They get death threats because they admit that they don't believe the crazy bullshit that religion teaches. And it's sad. It's sad that people get angry when other people stop believing the bullshit. And it's sad that people are willing to die rather than change their mind. Anyways, I brought up Holy Kool-Aid because he recently did a video talking about the atheist movement. And, well, the atheist movement had a bit of a rough patch the last year and a half. And he thinks things are getting back on target. There's been a lot of infighting, a lot of just silly nonsense. And it's one of the reasons why I've kind of walked away. It's like, I don't have a stand. It's like, I don't have an interest in that kind of drama. And my own personal life got better. Uh, One thing that's interesting that I realized relatively recently was when I got married, my wife was not religious. She could take or leave religion. She just, God was, she was Mexican and Catholic. And that was it. She didn't go to church. She didn't really pray. She didn't do anything. Just whatever, she was not religious. After we got married, I don't know, the idea of being religious got in her head. I don't know. But once she had a child, once she had someone else that she was responsible for, the need to spread religion came about in her. And the same true with my sister. My sister was not religious at all until she had kids, and all of a sudden religion became important because you got to spread the disease of religion. You can't not have religion. That's bizarre. And that's why people give me flack, because I don't have religion. Therefore, I'm somehow damaged because I don't have the bullshit disease of religion in me. So they think I'm damaged because I don't have the disease. And yes, religion is a disease. Anyways, back on point, my wife got more and more religious. And as she got more religious, I got more anti-religious. And there was a tipping point where I just had to speak out. I needed to vent somewhere. I couldn't complain to her because I was being respectful with my wife. I loved her, and I was trying to be respectful of her beliefs. But the more they came out and the more she started to indoctrinate our child, the more I had to speak out. I needed to get it off my chest. I needed to counteract the disease of religion that she was spreading to my child. And she left me. She left me for God. She got a hug and God held her hand. And she truly believes this. And therefore she could not be with me anymore because I don't believe. And I'm, outspoken atheist. So I was an outspoken atheist when she married me. She knew what she was getting herself into. But when she left, I wasn't exposed to that constant source of growing religiosity that was being poured out onto my child. And I guess my need to vent about it disappeared. So I stopped making videos. I slowed down. I stopped. I didn't need to vent anymore. But I still have conversations online, and the two that I'm having right now with this kid, and I hope he watches this because I'm talking about you. I don't know what screen name you have now, because it used to be Drafting Lover, which was weird. But to say something like, I'd rather die than change my mind about God and God's love and God so loved humanity that he killed everybody multiple times and required sacrifice of them and requires their worship. That's not love. Sorry. That's abuse. That's what an abusive parent does. It requires you to be dedicated to them. Otherwise, they will make you suffer in hell for eternity. And that's what hell is for. Hell is to get you to believe the bullshit. To be too afraid not to believe. Anyways, let's get back to Thomas Westbrook of Holy Kool-Aid. Check out his channel, definitely. But he was saying we need to, redouble our efforts, regroup our efforts, and make a stronger case for being skeptical thinking, and having our beliefs be, and I don't want to say science-based, but science is basically the practice of solving things, or at least finding things out through evidence. It's an evidential basis of knowing things. And it not only wants people to, but it requires people to back it up, back up their evidence. And it also requires other people to run the same experiments to see if they get the same results to back up the claims that are made by science. And these are good things. These are being the things that have helped society to grow and prosper and just be where we are now. And some people think where we are now is kind of shit. I'm one of those people. I think where we are now is kind of shit. Why do I think it's shit? Donald J. Trump. He is a garbage human being. And saying that may make it hard for me to find a job because most business owners, I don't want to say most, but I mean, I know people in charge of businesses that I would like to work for are totally on the Trump train. They're totally on board with Trump is good for America. And it just, it makes a knot in my stomach that makes me sick of what Trump represents. And Trump, if he wasn't such a garbage human being, he could actually be a very good president because he's in a position where he can say, I don't give a fuck, I'm going to do whatever I want. And he could actually do something beneficial. He shouldn't give a fuck. He should do what is best for America rather than the kowtowing to, I don't even know what the fuck he's doing. I think he's so brain dead that he's just a puppet for, I mean, I cannot comprehend somebody who is such a garbage human being. Anyhow, we need to regroup. Us atheists, us outspoken atheists, and even those who are not outspoken, those who are still on the fence, those who have not chosen to out themselves. I'm not saying that you should out yourself if it's going to be painful, but what I'm saying is if you've already outed yourself, that you should be outspoken. You should let people know you're an atheist. Atheists should be so common that when you say I'm an atheist, people say, so? Because that's what I want. That's what I want out of the world. I want, when I say I'm an atheist, the response to be, so? Because still, a lot of people are like, oh, you're an atheist, but you seem so nice. That's why I'm Tom the Friendly Neighborhood Atheist. Because I'm a nice guy. Helpful and kind and generous and forgiving. Just did a post on forgiveness. Off topic again, because I'm on a rant roll. Forgiveness is something you do for yourself. You don't forgive people for them. They are irrelevant. When you hold on to hate and anger, it damages you. You forgive other people, not for them. You forgive other people for yourself because forgiveness does a body good. Trust me, my wife made some horrible claims against me because she got a really shit lawyer and made some really horrible claims against me. And most people are like, how can you even look at her anymore? It's like, because I forgive her. I forgive her because she got it in her head that she needed to do these things because somebody gave her bad advice. And for me to hold on to hate and anger only harms me. And I don't want that for myself. I also don't want it for my child. I don't want there to be conflict between me and her mother. So my child doesn't have to suffer what I suffered, which is basically my parents not getting along. And my parents actually fought a lot when I was a little kid. Then they got divorced. And then they still were like, eh. I don't want that for my child. I want my child to be like, oh, mom and dad, they're just not living together anymore. Which in today's society is perfectly normal because who stays married anymore? You know the number one reason for divorce? Marriage. Yep, that's right. Marriage is the number one cause of divorce. And I say that not unironically. People who live together are typically fine. It's not until they get married that expectations change and things become not fine anymore. And I know I'm going all over the place, and I'll end this very shortly. I just wanted to say Thomas Westbrook again, and Holy Kool-Aid again, because I like the guy. I've met him a few times. And I think he's right. We do need to make more of an effort to say, hey, everybody, be skeptical. Don't believe everything that you're told. Global climate change is actually real. Just because the Republicans refuse to believe it doesn't mean it isn't real. I mean, after all, some of them think the Earth is 6,000 years old. Yes, elected officials think the Earth is 6,000 years old. That is truly frightening. I am Tom, your friendly neighborhood atheist, and I want you to be skeptical. I don't want you to ever have the mental disease of, I would rather die than to change my mind, because that is a sickness. That is a disease that needs to be stopped at any cost. Because Islam is spreading it, Christianity is spreading it, Judaism is spreading it, Buddhism, Hinduism is kind of, but the big three, the big Abrahamic religions, They are the worst. They are the biggest carriers of this disease. This disease of, I would rather die than to change my mind. And that disease needs to be eradicated from society because that is damaging in so many ways. It is the destroyer of worlds because that is what we are doing. We are destroying our world because there are idiots who believe there's an afterlife and that this world is a gift from God for us to use up and then go on to whatever the fuck else. And it's a lie. I'll say it right out. Do I believe in God? No, 100%. I do not believe in God. Is there a possibility of a God? Sure, there's a possibility. For you Star Trek fans, Q from the Continuum could be the God that created our universe. Because our universe came from nothing? No, it didn't come from nothing. It came from energy. Energy created this universe. Because energy really takes up no space. So you could have all the energy that would translate into matter, because that's what happens is energy becomes matter, matter can become energy, but energy doesn't take up much space. So you can have all the energy of a universe in like this. So it's possible that this gave birth to the entire universe. It didn't come from nothing, it came from energy. Where did that energy come from? I don't know. Could have been another universe. Could be one of many universes. It didn't require a creator. It didn't require a God. It didn't require anything. If there was always a God, then there could have always been energy, and therefore you don't need there to have been a God. Case closed. No need for a God. Not saying that there isn't a God, just saying that there is no need for a God. And there's no point for God. There's nothing that points to a God. Nothing. Anyone with any kind of mental ability should really realize there's nothing that points to a God. You know, this whole idea of finely tuned universe. If you looked at the universe, if it were finely tuned for life, there'd be a lot more life than on this little speck of dust out in the cosmos. Finely tuned for life. That is like the worst argument ever. Anyhow, okay, I've ranted long enough. Thank you very much if you've come this far. And for those of you who have unsubscribed because I stopped making videos, maybe you watch this one. Share it though. Share this with everyone because I love for people to hear me rant. That's why I rant, because I want people to know I'm ranting. Religion is bad. Religion is evil. I don't believe in evil. But religion is a disease. It is a mental disease. It causes people to think things like, I would rather die than to change my mind. That is just too disturbing. I can't handle it. And I don't think Jesus was real either. Anyways, I'll catch you next time. Hi, Thomas. Catch you next conference. You know, American Atheist is coming up soon. Still don't know if I'm going to that one. I should, though. Anyways, bye.